Hello, this is Story Family, and a new original story from my channel Life Stories. Rebecca felt a wave approaching. She urgently needed to sit down somewhere. What had possessed her to go for a walk? How many times had her husband told her not to go anywhere alone? A noise rose in her head, nausea crept up her throat, and she had no water with her. At least she had taken the pills. All this had started with her about 6 months ago. Some kind of malaise, either nausea or dizziness. Then, when she fainted and ended up in the hospital, her husband insisted on a full examination, but they found nothing and said it was fatigue. Thomas was furious with the doctors back then. He said they had all been given diplomas for nothing and that they really knew and could do nothing. But she was getting worse, and then her husband brought or ordered these medications from abroad somehow. He always took care of her, and she had almost divorced him. What a paradox. Rebecca finally saw a bench, sat down, put a pill in her mouth, and closed her eyes. It would get better soon. Thomas had been her husband for not so long, only 4 years. She had married for love, already at a mature age, not as a young girl. She was 32 at the time, and by then, Rebecca was already a successful businesswoman. Thomas appeared suddenly. They met on the street. He approached her, said he admired her, and invited her to a cafe. Rebecca was even taken aback by such assertiveness. He was younger. He was handsome. She herself did not understand how they ended up at the registry office. Friends, of course, were skeptical about their marriage. No one believed in love at first sight, especially since Thomas turned out to be as poor as a church mouse. At first, everything was just perfect. She got Thomas a job with her, invented a position for him as director, and he actively took to the work, even more actively than she expected. But after some time, she realized money was leaking through him. She did a secret audit and almost fainted when she learned what amount had gone. Naturally, she immediately decided that he was spending the money on mistresses and threw such a scandal at him. At first, her husband denied it, then almost burst into tears. I couldn't cope with this addiction. If you forgive me, I won't do it anymore. I'll never go near the slot machines again. To the machines? Rebecca was taken aback. She knew well how hard it was for people to part with such a game. You see, my father played, he died because of it, and I told myself I wouldn't be like him, but probably genes are genes. Rebecca felt so ashamed. Lord, she had suspected him of terrible infidelities, but here it was something completely different. How could she? Thomas had a difficult childhood, because a light childhood simply cannot exist for a child whose father is a gambler. Thomas, I didn't know, but we'll cope, don't even worry. You just needed to tell me right away, and we would fight it together. He walked around upset for a long time, and Rebecca, love is love, but business is business. She adjusted the possibilities of his position, and now Thomas had no access to the accounts. When he found out about it, he literally burst into her office. What are you doing? Humiliating me. Now I can't even pay for a cup of coffee? Rebecca looked at him calmly. Thomas, sit down and don't yell. You have your own money, your own personal card. Pay for the coffee with that. Understand, it's not about humiliation. You understand, it's just for safety. Safety. Whose? Ours. As soon as we are sure you've coped, we'll return everything. But for now, forgive me, I don't want to lose everything I've earned in one moment. Everywhere it's only your eye. He got so angry. Rebecca had never seen him like that. He said so many nasty things to her. True, he apologized later, but the sediment remained, and thoughts appeared in Rebecca's head that maybe not everywhere was his love for her pure, and maybe there was a mercenary interest. And then, about a month and a half later, she felt unwell. Auntie, are you sleeping or are you unwell? Rebecca opened her eyes. Somehow she had thought so deeply that she lost track of time and didn't notice when it got better. Next to her stood a girl, quite small, probably just started school, with smart blue eyes and curls. No, I just got lost in thought. The girl sat down next to her, smiled, looked at the pillbox in her hands, and asked, "And what is that? Are you going to eat it?" Rebecca nodded. "Yes, these are my medicines. I take them when I feel bad." Strange, but it says on them that people shouldn't eat them. Rebecca looked at the pack in surprise. Thomas said he got them with such difficulty, almost smuggled from abroad, and the language on the pack was completely unfamiliar. Rebecca knew English well, but this was some completely uncommon one. "Do you know this language?" "Yes, my mom taught me. though I don't know it as well as she did. Rebecca noticed that the girl spoke about her mother in the past tense, but right now she needed to find out about these pills, and how had she not thought to find someone to translate it for her? It seemed Thomas had become a victim of deception. She definitely needed to find out everything and punish those people. Rebecca asked the little girl to read everything she could, took out the instructions too, and when she understood what these pills caused in a person, she thought, and is it really that they're deceiving Thomas? Isn't there a variant that he knows everything perfectly well? And she became scared. If so, her life was in danger, and for what? For money. No, that just couldn't be. Thomas loved her, that was for sure. She looked at the girl. What's your name? Lily. And I'm Rebecca. You know what, Lily, I need to go to the police, and I'd really like you to come with me. Can I talk to your parents? I don't have a mom anymore, and Dad is at work. I'm just going to him. And where does your dad work? Dad works in the police, so it's on our way. Wow, what a coincidence. Well then, let's go. Do you know where to go? All the way to the police station, Rebecca questioned the little girl. As it turned out, Lily was 9, just so small. Dad always calls me, and he called Mom that too because she was small as well. Rebecca looked at the girl with pity apparently. Mom had passed away quite recently because every time Lily spoke about her, there was longing in her voice. Hello. The policeman at the checkpoint opened the door and smiled. Hi, Button. Dad already came out asking about you. My dad always does everything precisely and wants me to do the same. And where are you going? I need to see an investigator. Probably I don't know. Rebecca handed over her passport. The man looked at Lily. Is this your acquaintance? Yes, she's good, and she needs help. Well then, take her to Dad, let her explain to him what's what, and he'll decide who she needs. Okay, come on. A man rose to meet them. Lily, well, I was worried. Daddy, don't scold. Meet, this is Rebecca, she really needs your help. Lily immediately turned to the woman. My dad can do everything, and he'll definitely help you. The man smiled embarrassedly. Lily, only wizards can do everything. Come in, sit down. I'm Daniel Nicholas. Elena, wait, Rebecca. Understand. She tried to tell everything that had happened as accurately as possible. Daniel Nicholas took the pills, called someone, they came and took them away. So you think your husband is deliberately poisoning you little by little? Rebecca spread her hands. Well, I have only 2 options, and you know, the more I think, the more I understand that the option where my husband was deceived doesn't fit, because all this started with me only after I closed his access to the money. But I can't tell him directly. What if I'm wrong anyway? Yes, an interesting situation. You say you hadn't taken the pills yet when you felt bad the first time? Yes, and that confuses me too. Maybe it's not about them, but if your husband decided on such a thing, then I think he calculated everything. After all, he could have first just sprinkled something in the food. Rebecca thought about it, and indeed, at that time Thomas was very actively helping her around the house, setting the table himself, cooking sometimes, and when he got these pills, all his help instantly evaporated. Daniel Nicholas sighed, put a sheet of paper in front of her. You need to describe everything you just told me, only facts. You still think it's my husband? Well, I can't claim it with certainty until we figure everything out, but I think yes. Rebecca looked at him frightened, took the paper. Right, then we'll talk. He went over to his daughter, who was sitting at the table. They talked quietly about something. The man handed her money and a note. And after the store, straight home. I'll try to be on time today. Dad, do you believe that yourself? He smiled. Lily, I really will try very hard, honestly. Okay, I'll wait. Don't forget about homework. Lily sighed. Well, how can you forget about them? When Rebecca finished, Daniel Nicholas reread everything and looked at her. Which option is closer to you? You pretend to take the pills and live at home, or you go somewhere to stay. Rebecca only now truly got scared when she realized she would have to return to Thomas. What if he finds out everything? No, I don't want to go home yet. Stay, even I don't know where to go. Well, maybe there are friends, acquaintances. Thomas was watching Rebecca attentively, and his gaze embarrassed her. You know, my friend has a tourist base outside the city. I'll go there. And what's it called, do you know? My Lily and I also wanted to go somewhere for the weekend. Luca Mori. Come, it's very beautiful. Here, I'll leave you the number, you can book a cottage with it. Thank you. Rebecca went out into the street and inhaled. Her mood became much better, and the thought that Daniel Nicholas and Lily might come to the tourist base somehow warmed her greatly. Rebecca pulled herself back. You're married, that's one, and it's not a fact that this man liked you, that's two. Rebecca was resting, she had no pills, and she felt bad only once toward evening. Drank some water, lay down, it passed, and then the attacks disappeared, at least for 3 days, not once more. Thomas called 10 times a day, trying to find out where she was and why she left so spontaneously. Thomas, I just wanted to rest, to be alone. I don't understand, you have a husband, after all. At least say that you're going somewhere, and mainly where. I could have, but I wanted to be alone for once in my life. Thomas was silent, then asked, I hope you're taking the medicine? And how are you there alone when you feel bad? And why did you decide that I feel bad? Maybe I feel good, and your medicine started working. She even felt his confusion, but then her husband said, well, I just didn't think they would work so quickly. Quickly? I've been taking them for the 2nd month already. Yes, that's normal. Local doctors couldn't determine what was wrong with you at all, and I helped you. So be kind, don't interrupt the course, okay? Thomas, listen, I'm tired, I want to sleep. Bye. She hung up, her hands were shaking. And 2 days later, Rebecca saw Lily running toward her. Rebecca, Dad, and I came, it's so beautiful here. How long had it been since she experienced such emotions, as if people she missed terribly had arrived, although that couldn't be. In the evening, Lily invited her over. Rebecca, come, Dad said you must come to try his meat, he cooks it on coals. Rebecca sat in a lounge chair, watched Lily collecting something from grass blades and twigs, and listened to Daniel. Rebecca, we suspected everything correctly, it remains to find out how these drugs cross the border, but that's not us finding out anymore. In a couple of hours, your husband will be brought to the station for questioning, and on Monday, you need to be at the police too. The article against him will be serious. Yes, it's so strange to realize that the person you considered family wants to kill you. And yes, he's not entirely smooth, he was married twice. Both times the wives were older and wealthy, and both times he was kicked out because he squandered money on women and games. Rebecca smiled sadly. This time he decided to make a night's move, but it turns out that way. Don't worry, now everything is behind. Daniel put his hand on hers, and Rebecca felt like an electric shock. She raised her eyes, met his gaze, and drowned. Lily, looking at them, smiled. These two looked like a monument because they were looking at each other and not moving, and it seemed there would soon be an addition to the family. Lily loved her mom very much and would always remember her, but Dad was still quite young, and Rebecca was so good they definitely should become friends. And a year later, everything Lily wished for came true. Rebecca became her mom and also promised to give her a little brother. If you like the story, I really hope for your support with the thumbs up button. Thank you, and all the best.